We're live. Also, let me go ahead and set my do the recording on Spotify as well while we're here. I wanted to go live on Instagram before we did all this stuff, but time didn't permit. I know you got to get out of here.
He's on you're in Colorado, right, John?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 12 o'clock my time is 1 o'clock your time.
Okay, so we're recording everything. We're go. All right, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. You're tuned into the Power of Ownership podcast. I'm here with my special guest. I got my special guest host, Steven Contreras, and I got John Lazarus. Did I pronounce that right?
Perfect, man.
Right. So we're going to do a little brief introduction. We're going to introduce the show, and then we're going to dive right into it because I know you people got a lot to do. So, again, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a published author, a mortgage broker, community activist, public speaker, sales trainer, so on and so forth. My book, Sales the Nucleus of Any Profession, which is over there. I'm not going to reach to get it. You guys should know by now. Is out right now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, so on and so forth. My second book will be out real soon. It's called I Am the Book. It's going to be out real soon. The lecture, this is the lecture, the final lecture series for it. It's called a Socioeconomic Neo. It's available right now on our channel. It's a good lecture at 45 minutes. And I touched a little bit that's going to be in the book as well. So I'm going to go ahead and plug all my websites real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and round robin, give everybody a chance to speak. If you need a mortgage, my website, hocmortgage.com. Go ahead and tune into that. If you need to book me as far as sales training, consultation, everything like that, www.billionaireloanofficer.com. You can call me 24/7, 832-775-8357. Call me, and it's at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media. Steve, I'm going to go ahead and hand it to you. Steve is real simple.
Yeah. Hey, guys. I'm Steven Contreras here, a geologist in Houston, Texas. I'm also now currently a U.S. health advisor. Do health insurance. You can find me at Steven Contreras _Contreras_90. Pretty much, I'm like a Renaissance man. I study the arts and I study the sciences. I try to help people out wherever I go. And if you need any good advice, just feel free to hit me up. So that's all I got.
Gotcha. Tell them where to find you on social as well.
Yeah, at Steven Contreras Steven _Contreras _90 and Steven Contreras on Facebook.
Gotcha. All right. And we got another special guest, John Lazarus. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, everybody. John Lazarus here with the Health Insurance Specialist. And I am actually a colleague of Steven Contreras as of, a couple weeks ago, Steven?
Oh, yeah, a couple weeks, yep.
Yeah, and that's how Steven found me. But I've been doing the insurance thing for about 15 years now, last 5 years, health insurance. And essentially, we're all about helping people improve their health coverage and save them money. We work with small businesses, the self-employed, and consumers. Our plans are private, outside of the Obamacare and group health arenas, and are available year-round.
Gotcha. Tell them where they can find you. I got your Facebook up right fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my social media, I need to tighten up the handles and stuff. It's a little complicated, but Facebook is the Health Insurance Specialists. That's plural, actually.
Specialists.
What's on the screen there. Right. The Health Insurance Specialist 1 on Facebook. Twitter at Health Insure. That's INSUR Spec SPEC. Instagram, The Health Insurance Specialists. That's at The Health Insurance Specialists. And website www.ush, like Uncle Sam Harry agent.com / my name, John Lazarus, JOHNLAZAS.
Gotcha. So you guys know where to find us. Let's go ahead and dive into the show real fast. Actually, we're making good time. We're at the 4:30 mark, so we're good time. Usually, people that's tuning in, they know they fast forward to 5 minutes if they already know us. So Power of Ownership podcast is this is your first time tuning in. We talk about not only ownership of properties and intellectual properties, but businesses, so on and so forth. We also talk about owning the mind, body, and soul. So we bridge the gap between the seen and unseen realm. So we teach you how to use ancient sciences and occult knowledge to bring things into fruition into this physical realm. So we're one of the only shows that's doing this. You see a lot of people talk about, knowledge as far as real estate or as far as their specific field. Or you got people that talk woo-woo all the time, but you never, all right, how do I practically take this and use this and bridge the gap? So this is what we talk about on this show. We talk about the bridging the gap between the seen and unseen realm and owning the mind, body, and soul. And then in turn, you could control this physical third density plane that we're in right now. Just to introduce the show this week, I had a line in a song a while back when I used to make music about 15 years ago, just real briefly, and it went like this. It said the cards that you dealt, you control. F that, shuffle the deck. That's that's just the one bar. I'm not gonna tell you what I rhymed it with, but and I was watching the movie last night. Since we got a little bit out of time, I'll finish my book. So I watched a movie called One Day and a Night. And it was throwing the guy that played the RZA in the Wu-Tang series. I don't know if you watched the Wu-Tang series on Hulu, but the same guy who played the RZA in the Wu-Tang movie is starring in this movie. So that's what made me watch it. But it was talking about, it's an urban movie set in Oakland, California, in modern day. And it was talking about the struggles of the hood and trying to get out of the hood, being intergenerationally set in this environment and not being able to escape it. And the whole time I'm thinking like, damn, why is this so complicated? Why don't this just take Big Mama's house and go ahead and put it on the market and take that proceeds and move down south where you can live like a king? Why not just move out of Oakland? But they were trapped there, and the premise of the show is that his dad was a serial criminal. He's he's spending life in jail right now, and he always knew as a kid that he was going to eventually wind up in jail, and so he manifested that, and he felt free. He felt like a relief once he got in jail. So that mind frame led him. He was always destined to be where he's at. So I came up with the premise of the show is that a lot of people have this impoverished mind state and they don't know how to escape it, and don't know how easy it is just to shuffle a deck, get a new hand. You don't have to play the cards that you're dealt. You can always think outside the box and do something different. So I want to open that up to the panel, your thoughts on that, and share some stories, and let's do a round robin. I always go last. So Stephen, I'll open up to you. What do you thought on that? Give out people some pragmatic stuff.
Yeah, so I think this is actually a pretty good topic here because, everyone plays the victim mindset, right? Like they're mad about the cards that they're dealt in life. And a lot of times it's about the people who they grow up around, the environment, the culture. No one's ever taught them how to shuffle, how to shuffle the deck, how to give yourself new cards. And so for all the people trying to break out of the poverty and the hood, they have to be able to think different, right? They have to be able to think, okay, so how am I going to improve my situation? If I was dealt a 6 and a 7, how can I get up to that 10 and that Jack and Queen level? So, and a lot of times it's just being able to observe your surroundings. How can I better myself in a day-to-day basis? How can I better myself in a week-to-week basis? Like all these little steps that it does to break the curse that we always talk about, that generational curse. Because a lot of times being stuck in the hood or in poverty is a generational thing. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 generations just to break the cycle, to see something different. And if you notice, if you all around you, just in your day-to-day life, and anyone's day-to-day life, you'll notice that poverty mind state in people, because they just don't know. No one's ever taught them. They've been doing the same thing their families have been doing over and over again. I'll give you an example. I went and talked to my dad's good friend who was a military Air Force recruiter for 20 years, right? And he was selling his father's house, who's passed away 10 years ago. He's finally leaving Texas, and he has just had his father's house still in his name, and it was in one of the worst parts of Houston. And I asked him, was like, so why can't anyone ever try to escape? It's like, because I was shocked that these families, all his neighbors, have been there for 30 years. They never left. He left, and no one else left. And he's like, everyone just likes it here. It's comfortable. It's they moved over here with 4 or 5 families living in the same house. Like, when one family member dies, they just give it to the other family member. And so they never have to leave. They have everything in this situation. So they don't know how bad they actually have it, because they've never walked past their neighborhood. And so the only way to be able to change those mindsets is for them to be shown something different, something that is different than what they're used to. And sometimes it takes a long time, and hopefully people can start realizing and bettering themselves to make it a faster process.
Well, just to interject before we go to John here, don't you think that they've been shown better through the event of social media, and through the event of, even with the 80s, with the Lifetime of the Rich and Famous? Remember that with Robin Leach and all that stuff? You've seen, MTV Cribs, all the behind the scenes stuff. So we see how the other side lives. I don't think we have, and I know they like it, but I don't think they know the mechanics.
I would agree. Yeah.
Because first, if you're in a speeding car going down the wrong way, you got to stop the car first, then reverse it. So you're not going to just do a 180 automatically. You got to slow that car down and stop it. It's all pragmatic stuff. So I don't think they have a game plan on how do I stop the bleeding and then heal the wound and then function normally with that wound. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
John, I'm gonna open that up to you. What do you feel about how to shuffle life's deck? How to change your circumstance? How to transcend your environment?
Yeah. First of all, thanks a lot for having me on, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity to interact with you and hear more about you and your life philosophy, and hopefully contribute a little bit today as well on this topic. I love, Brandon, I love people who speak in metaphors. Okay, and you do that very well. So right. I'm tracking with you on that approach there, man. But I, like a lot of us, I came from a poverty mindset. My parents were actually born. They're in their late 80s. My dad just turned 90, so they were born right in the Depression. Mm-hmm. And they absorbed all that negative energy from their parents, who were scared, whatless, and they adopted all those practices of scrimp and save and be fearful and hoard and all that stuff. So I've been working my lifetime for 50 some years to let those shackles fall away, and find ways to find new ideas and practices to adopt, to create more of a mentality of abundance for myself. So when Stephen was talking about his story, the poverty story there that he related, I got to thinking, it's certainly about poverty of material things and money for a lot of us. Mm-hmm. But I think if you go deeper, it's poverty of the mind. Right. Poverty of the mind. And so how can we talk about pragmatism, Brandon? How can we switch or shift that poverty of the mind? And for me, it's about reading exposing myself to people and ideas, new people, new ideas to enrich my mind. And then not only that, but then what's really in focus for me, and I think I related this to you yesterday, Stephen, is the application of that new information. The application is all that matters. That's the only thing that's going to make a difference.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah, it's like what Brandon was saying with that going down the highway the wrong way at 180 miles an hour and then stopping, right? You gotta apply yourself, try to fix it.
Right. This is the thing that, just to add my 2 cents in, and then we could dive deeper, and then we could go ahead and do our outro, because we like to keep it around the 30, 33 mark, time link, so this is the thing. Everybody eventually will be exposed to different truths and different knowledge in their life. And it takes a strong person to stand on that knowledge and apply that knowledge. It takes a special individual to implement truth in their life. So the difference between the top 1% or the top 10% and the rest of the 90% is that they took this truth and I implemented, I took action upon that truth. And then I made it part of my life. And I think the common theme with most people that's impoverished is that they, even though it doesn't make sense, they still continue to do it. Even though you could debunk, the philosophy on what they base their life on, they still continue to do it. They're ignoring the truth. Am I making sense at all?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of that is fear. When you hear the truth and you don't act upon it, that's false evidence appearing real. You're scared to get out of your comfort zone because the lie or the falsehood is more comfortable than the truth. So that's the thing I see when you apply this stuff, it requires stretching yourself. It requires going where you've never gone before, trying things you never tried before, being in crowds that you've never been in before, meeting with people that you never met before. That's, huh?
I've got something to share with as regards that point you just made.
Mm-hmm.
And it's here on my wall, so that's why I'm peering up. But it says to have more than most, I must do more than most, believe more than most, learn more than most, and sacrifice more than most.
This is correct.
And then, related to that is to have what most won't, you have to do what most won't.
Right.
So
that's what we talk about. That's the moniker of the show. That's why in the show every time with God is a verb. That's it's all about action. We're here to do. We're here to experience ourselves in physical form, and that requires action. That requires things to do. And a lot of people are what they know is comfortable because they've seen it. They know the results, and it's just comfortable to them. And the truth requires that moment or those series of moments of uncomfortability, which are people are scared of. And this is why that's stagnation. So my advice, my solution-based podcast is that I'm gonna echo what John said. You got to read. Like my book. If you read my book, it gives you. This is a gateway to a six-figure income. You follow the 7 steps on here. You get a sales job. You could make it in 1 year 6 figures. I guarantee it. You got there's information out there. This is the information age. So instead of just looking at your environment, look at stuff that's going to help you. And then, like I tell this to my daughter all the time, have your assets, finance your liabilities. Even your habits, even if you like to party on the weekend, have your assets finance that. So don't try to, if you like to hang out with your friends and, every weekend, that's fine. But have an asset to finance that. have these investment properties, this passive income. I want to get into a little bit what John does as well as far as insurance. We talked about insurance before on an earlier episode. Two types of insurance: life insurance. Most people don't understand. You will go. This is how people build in a generational wealth. I get a policy on uncle, aunt, everything else. They will go. They will kick the bucket. That's with $70 a month for 10 years, and you get $1 million at the end of that. Would that be worth it?
Yeah.
Of course.
Sure.
This is the timeline. This is another thing with health insurance. This is another thing that's necessary as well. And I don't want to step on your toes. I know you want to get into this. This is the timeline. Sorry to say, but with the modern Western diet, they're trying to get you up out of here by 75. It just is
About
what
the
it
age,
is.
yeah.
It is what it is. So, with people that the common American, they got your whole life mapped out for you. From adolescence, they pump you with the toys. Then the teenager, they pump you with the pumping sex at you. So then you're gonna get your girlfriend. So by the time you're in the 20s, you're married, and you're going out in the club, you're looking for the girls, and now you gotta spend money on movies and roses and stuff. Then they come to kids. By the time you're 30s, now you gotta pay for them. Now you gotta pay for diapers and stuff like that. By the time you're in the 40s, you might get a chance to get them out of high school and stuff. Now you gotta pay for college. By the time you're in the 50s, now you gotta now you get a little bit of money on your own. Now you're gonna want to go on vacation. Now you reach the 60s. Now here comes the sickness. Are you prepared? Here comes the bills. And a lot of people get hit and they're not prepared for the timeline. So what the thing about switching from the impoverished mind state to the billionaire mind state or the successful mind state is planning, pragmatism, and action. And I go ahead and let y'all chime in on that. There's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I guess just going back to the mind state and I guess the health insurance. I'm relatively new in this topic, but I do notice that the United States is the only modern country to go down in life expectancy, just because our poor diets and lifestyle choices. And so I've noticed that it's cheaper for younger people to get health insurance than older people, right? So if you can jump on the game early and get health insurance while you're young and healthy, it'll be relatively cheaper or easier to get than when you're older, before you have all the problems like diabetes and cancers and all the crazy diseases that are out there, So that's what I would recommend, is always try to get health insurance when you can, especially when you're young. Would you agree, John?
Yeah, absolutely. And what you just said even holds more true, Stephen, for life insurance, especially if you can get a permanent policy like universal life or a whole life, because you lock in your premium rate at your current age. Okay. And those types of policies, it does not go up during the entire lifetime of the policy. Now, if you get a term policy after the initial term is up 10, 20, 30 years, then you do have increasing premiums. But man, there are some great life insurance and annuity tools that can help us to shift our wealth situation and that generational wealth situation for sure. And I used to specialize in those products. Now it's more health insurance, and health insurance is really more about not leaving money for loved ones necessarily, unless you have some of our products do have a accidental death and dismemberment.
Let me kind of tweak that for you. It is about leaving more money for loved ones, because it's not going to eat your liquid money. Because what happens is if you're not prepared, and you got, let's say I took this lifetime and accumulated this $250,000 or $500,000. Now I got to spend it all on this keeping me alive.
Yeah.
Instead of, now I can't pass that money down to my daughter.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for the course correction. And what I said was geared more toward the, the purpose of life insurance and annuities. But anyway, point well taken. But, I'm actually an unlikely person to be working with health insurance in that I have worked personally for more than 25 years on my own health and well-being. And I chose a long time ago to follow more of the complementary alternative medicine approach as opposed to the allopathic or traditional medicine approach. And so that said, I think that both are important, and health insurance is on the side of allopathic or conventional medicine for the most part, right? And it is about addressing things after they've already come up, typically, right? Health situations. Whereas the other approach is more about helping prevent those things from coming up.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of live my whole lifestyle. I try to on non-pharmaceuticals. I really do try hard. I drink a lot of tea, and I mean, there's all these healthy options. Cinnamon's real good for you. Aloe vera plants and things like that. Everything comes from nature. I'm a geologist at heart. So even raw materials and everything we see comes from the earth, and so it makes sense that the medicine comes from the earth too.
For sure. And, relating back to the topic of this podcast, shuffling the deck, we can all choose to shuffle the deck that's been dealt us, called conventional, traditional thinking around our health and healthcare. And there are other cards out there. There are other cards in the deck that we can choose to play, not just the ones we've been dealt.
Right.
Yeah, the king card, right?
That's definitely doesn't need to be said as far as preventative maintenance, holistic approach, the different lifestyle choices. But there's the people that won't change the lifestyle, that will continue to work hard, play hard. That's the philosophy. Especially it just is what it is. Everybody's not going to be 100% perfect. My point is what I'm making with the bringing up health insurance, and you're a perfect panelist for this particular show, is that we don't plan ahead. And the difference between the highly successful and the people that's the mediocre, the mid tier, and the people that's struggling is that they play the survival game. The people were taught how to survive, but then they're not taught how to live. So, and when to live a good life requires long-term planning, and it's a little bit of sacrifice. So you might not get everything that you want during your lifetime, but you're setting your kids up and your kids for a better life.
Yeah, so, Brandon, I many years ago I learned this saying or this idea, which is that most of us are playing not to lose rather than playing to win.
Right.
Yeah.
If you think about it, that's deep, man. And we look at ourselves and how even the 1% at times fall back into that playing not to lose. Playing from a place of fear, playing the card game of life and business.
Right.
Wanting not to lose. So
now you gotta. I mean, that's perfect analogy. I'm into sports a lot, so my Saints. I'm a huge Saints fan. That's how we went to the playoffs the first time back in '87. Is that under Jim Mora, the playoff, that guy that he was the Saints coach before he was the Indianapolis coach, but that was his philosophy. He played not to lose. He played defense, and he held the ball and time managed, and that was his philosophy. But is that a life? If you want to apply that to life, metaphorically to life, is playing not to lose, is playing just to keep your head above water. Is that a life?
No, it's no way to live, that's for sure.
So we got to get out of survival mentality and make plays. I love the sports analogy. You got to make plays to win the game and run the scoreboard up. And I talked about this in my lecture. Like, a lot of people that there's the 90% that won't plus a grape. That won't do anything about, no matter how much we preach at them. This show is not for the 90%. In fact, we're talking Greek to the 90% right now.
Yeah.
There's 9% that will make a play. They'll make the slam dunk. They'll make this great dunk, and then they won't go back to the other side and play any defense. They won't. They'll make this play and they want to live off the laurels of this one play, like Al Bundy with the 4 touchdown game. So
I love that idea of running up the score, man. And for people like me and Steven and most business owners, if you have a win, don't sit back and start enjoying your weekend. When it's still Friday afternoon, capitalize on your success and keep going. And run up the score.
Run up the score, because what happens is you're not just playing for yourself at this point. I'm playing for my kids. Yeah. And I might not enjoy the, all the fruits of my labor, but this tree is going to be in our backyard for generations. That future generations can enjoy this fruit.
Yeah.
So that's what we're playing for. We're playing for the future. You got to stop that car, like I said earlier. Then you reverse it, and then you drive the other way 180. 180 miles an hour. So it's a process, and this is the thing that we lost. A lot of people lost. As you said, from coming from immigrant. You said your grandparents are immigrants, or your parents are immigrants.
My grandparents.
Grandparents are immigrants from that generation that took that risk, the move from the comforts of where they were from for the hopes of a better life. We kind of got comfortable here and lost that particular, gumption.
Yeah.
So you got to take that same gumption. Your grandparents that invested in businesses, moving to if this particular city's not working for you, have the gumption. I'm gonna move to a different city.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened with my dad's parents. His dad immigrated here from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. That's what it was back then. Mm-hmm. At 11 years of age with his dad, and my granddad's mother had died giving birth to him. Mm-hmm. So the two of them, man, and they came over here in the late 1800s. Mm-hmm. And they settled in a part of the country where some of their people were, which was Northeast Pennsylvania, and they the father anyway did well. Actually, both of them did what they were used to doing back in the old country, which is coal mining. Mm-hmm. But then fast forward later in life, my grandfather ended up marrying and moved from Pennsylvania to Maryland, where I'm from, mm-hmm. and started a new life. But man, they had he and his wife had several businesses along the way, and I don't know how well or not they ever succeeded. My dad, really doesn't have recollection of that or knowledge of that, but they tried different things, man, and they kept shuffling their decks. Mm-hmm. They had a restaurant and they had a used car business, and they just kept fighting, and that was that mentality and gumption.
Right. I'd like to add to that. One of my favorite, I think this is I want to say Muhammad Ali, is that if you don't fight, you're guaranteed to lose. I want to say, mm-hmm. So you're guaranteed to lose if you don't fight. Yeah, and that's what it's all about. To go to that movie, and I see the reason why the movie I didn't like the movie that I watched last night, but it touched me because I understand the mind frame. And the people that's in that mind frame, and you're trying to get out, because I don't want to eliminate everybody, say everybody won't hear it, because I was once in that mind frame. I was once, trapped in. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, which is one of the toughest places to come up from. But we do have a lot of millionaires, Tyler Perry, Master P, and so on and so forth, that came out of this particular situation. Because if you exposed to this, you have this hunger. You're going to either fall victim to it and you love the victimhood, or this is going to make you stronger and give you a work ethic that's going to propel you out of this. Mm-hmm. And I'm one of those guys that I just didn't like the environment, and it's something innately in me to get up out of here, and to break this cycle, and be the first billionaire in my family, So It just is what it is. But my point is that it's a fight. And let's wrap this up. I just want to come up with the final thought. And I'll open it up to y'all. My final thought on how to shuffle life's deck is, number one, accept the truth. You've tried your way. Y'all tried your way for generations. Does it work? And you got to answer yourself truthfully. No, it doesn't work. So you have to try something different. You have to do something different. How do I do this? How do I do something different? You have to sacrifice the things that you quote unquote like to do. You like to party, you're gonna have to maybe miss a few weekends. You like to get high, you might have to put that, put the reefer, the pot down. It just is what it is. You like to, whatever your vices are, you have to minimize your vices. And replace those vices with something productive. Like reading, watching YouTube instructional videos. I just not taught myself last weekend, well, this weekend actually. The weekends are running together, how to read corporate tax returns. Because we used to have this loan beam thing, and everybody, now it's getting expensive. So I said, screw that. I'm gonna teach myself how to read corporate tax returns so I can calculate them stuff for my customers. So I'm telling myself in the weekend how to read corporate tax return. Information is out there. Mm-hmm. If you're hungry enough to go get it, there's no excuses now. It's just that if you want to be in poverty, if you want to not succeed, and I want to talk to the business owners that's having mediocre success as well. If you want to go from barely getting by to the billionaire, millionaire, highly successful, you have to make a decision. You have to not be afraid to do something different than you always done. And my mentor, Mattress Mac, is the king of this. I don't know if you know, I was the sales trainer at Gallery Furniture for 6 years. Mattress Mac will try anything new that makes sense, because he wants to be at the cutting edge of the business. You can't be afraid to try something new and try, and be the first to bring it to the market. The second part of what I want to say is that once you do make a play, get a new formula and start making some success, plan out for the long haul. Get yourself the health insurance, because you will, if you like to drink your scotch on the rocks every Friday night, you like to eat your occasional Chick-fil-A. You like me, I eat out all the time. I don't have a food budget. That's one thing I hated when I was a kid, that we had to budget food. So I said, man, when I get an adult, I'm gonna eat what the hell I want. I'm gonna eat three times a day if I want to. And I'm suffering the consequences though. I'm about to get back in the gym. I used to be in a bodybuilder, but if you like me, I like to eat out. I like to eat, at expensive restaurants, $50 plates. I love that. So whatever your vices is, you need to plan accordingly. You need to have those systems in place that will help you succeed and not work against you. And be pragmatic. You're gonna get sick. You're not Superman. Eventually, it will catch up to you. Have your system in place, and you will kick the bucket. You need life insurance. How much do you love your loved ones? This is what it is. So have those systems in place for the long haul, and rock it from there. I'll leave it up to you guys to finish up, and let's go and wrap it up.
Yeah, I would say, I guess, it's all about your mental state of mind too. You got to be able to change your mental thinking, better prepare yourself, and just not be afraid. Like we've talked about all show, you have to be able to wake up every morning and put the grind on. The world is a game. America was founded by people who understood that it's a game, and is everyone going to choose to play the game or not play the game? And it's up to the individual and the families. Like, how bad do you want to play the game? Do I keep moving, or are you just gonna get left behind? And that's just, the world will always keep moving forward. So we have to always try to figure out how to change with it, adapt, and learn and grow as human beings. So.
Yeah, I love how you kind of said the grind and the game in one sentence or one paragraph, and the grind doesn't have to be miserable. You
Right.
know,
I know. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned to find the fun in it more and more as I go. But some closing thoughts. I'm looking at the name of your podcast here, Brandon, Power of Ownership, and what's coming to me is that we all have the ability to take power of ownership.
Exactly.
And the more we do that, I think we talked about this yesterday, Stephen, the more it becomes apparent to us how many people are not doing that. The victim mentality is so huge in the world right now, in my experience. And so I know I don't want that. I know, and I'm guided to take ownership more than ever. Put aside all the excuses, all the externals that I used to blame for where I am or where I am not now, and take ownership of that deck, life's deck, and say, give me that deck, give me that deck. I don't freaking like the cards that you dealt.
Like the cards.
And who gave you authority to deal them anyway,
Right. Exactly.
And then I'm gonna choose my cards, man.
Right.
I'm gonna choose which cards I play. So I
Right.
love how this is all kind of intertwining together, this conversation, and coming full circle. But yeah, as far as health insurance goes, that's one way we can take control that we have. We don't have control over everything, of course, but implement, right? Implement, take action, get it in place. You'll have more peace of mind once you do. You'll be taking care of yourself down the road more so, and your loved ones, as Brandon said, as a result of your taking that action.
Right. Well, again, let's go ahead and wrap it up. My name is Brandon B. Dixon. Again, I'm a serial entrepreneur, mortgage broker, community activist, public speaker, so on and so forth. If you like what we're saying, guys, I know a lot of people have been hopping on the Cash App. In fact, Steve, I owe you some money.
Okay, cool.
A lot of people have been hopping on the Cash App, and we definitely appreciate the donations. Go to the Power of Ownership, and hit us on the Cash App if you like what you hear, you like what we're doing, you want us to continue, want us to get more heavily produced, and invest in more equipment. This hit us up. We appreciate all the donations. Go to my website, www.hocmortgage.com, if you want to go ahead and take advantage. Right now is the time. You got one. Either you're gonna ball up in a ball and play the victim and be fear mongered all day, or you're gonna get rich like the rest of us. This is the biggest transfer of wealth in American history going on as we speak.
Right now.
So
seriously,
are you gonna take your money and hoard it, or you're gonna invest it and send it along like Mr. Wonderful says, and so it can have babies and multiply? So one of the best ways to do it is getting you a mortgage, getting you several investment properties that's gonna have passive income that you could do more devices that you said. Now I got a rental property that I'm yielding $1,000 a month. Now I could go out and party without it hurting me. Now I can pay for my health insurance. Now I can pay for my life insurance, and somebody else is paying for it because I have an asset that's generating passive income. So www.hocmortgage.com. For those who want to get better, billionaireloanofficer.com. Whether you want to get better in the loan game, whether you want to get better in the sales game, whether you want to get better as an individual, go to my website, book me for consultation. You want me to train your sales staff? That's my wheelhouse. 832-775-8357. Call me 24/7. I literally answer the phone 24/7. I learned that from my mentor. And get prepared. A lot of people, I'm gonna test them. I'm gonna talk. Get prepared because I can talk my butt off. Me and Stephen Contreras had our conversations a couple of times. So get prepared. You think you can out-talk me? Let's go.
Yeah. I know.
So, at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media. Go ahead and follow me, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do. and that's Boo, our mascot, the cat.
I know. Coming to say hi.
Steve, go ahead and take them out. Introduce yourselves. Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, first off, I just want to say a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out
Oh, yeah.
there. Yeah,
You
it's
forgot about that.
yeah. So yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. You know, if it wasn't for the moms, we wouldn't be here. You know, so
Right.
happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. And you can find me at Steven_Contreras_90 on Instagram and Steven Contreras on Facebook. Currently, I am. If you need health insurance, you know, hit myself or John up. We kind of work in the same kind of company selling health insurance, and I also do some side work as an advisor for this company, the Institute of Health Research. We have a big event going on June 26th down in the Woodlands, Texas. It'll be $50 a ticket. And basically, we'll be doing immunotherapy, how to protect your health after a pandemic or during a pandemic, what to do, what's real, what's not real, what to believe when all the health people are talking about just everything. Wear a mask, not wear a mask, all that kind of stuff. So it'll be a pretty big event. We have 3 guest speakers from all over the world. And it'll be again June 26th at the Woodlands, Texas. Feel free to hit me up, and I'll get you more information about all that. So that's all I got, Brandon.
Cool. John, go ahead, take him out.
Yeah. John Lazes again here with the Health Insurance Specialist and U.S. Health Advisors. You can find me on Facebook at the Health Insurance Specialists, #1.
Right. Put an S on there. I dropped the S when I created the banner. So
that's plural. I'm going to sneak in my LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/John Lazes, Lazas.
Mm-hmm.
And then website www.ushagent.com/John Lazes, JOHNLAZAS.
Gotcha. And it's health at Health Insurance Spec on Twitter.
There you go.
And the Health Insurance Specialist IG. I'm gonna go ahead and follow you as well once I get off air. And everybody follow us, man. Like and subscribe, so on and so forth. We're gonna go ahead and take you out. This was the Power of Ownership podcast. Don't forget that God is a verb and personal responsibility is your only savior. And with that, we're gonna say peace.
Peace,
guys.
Yeah, peace.
All right.